Hey, how's it going? It's Neil Parfit here. Welcome to video number 22 of getting started with the ER-301 sound computer. Today I thought I'd go over using the sample loopers and the grain units together. And I'll just get started and show you what I'm up to. So I have a bunch of LS1 light strips used for CV. I have a joystick set up. I have some buttons set up. And I'll show you how I have it all going down in a second. So first of all, I have a looper set up, and my punch is set to one of these buttons here. My dub is at 1 and my wet's at 1, which means if I'm recording into this, it's just going to be 100% wet signal when it comes back around in its loop. So if I engage the punch, check, 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 check. If I stop, notice that it's just wiping over itself. If I had the dub at 0.5, then it would retain this by 50% and overdub on top of it 50% new signal. But I don't want that. I just want this to be a continuously looping sort of recorder. And as soon as I kick out a punch, that will be my source audio. And just so you're aware, I have a microphone right off to the side over here to record into. There isn't like a magic microphone in this system right here. It's just over here. So let me just record something and let me show you what happens. So I've kicked out a record. I'll just hit record again. I have this singing bowl. Just give me a second. There we go. So I've kicked out a record and I have this cycling loop of that sound now. And I also have a speaker out of sight over here as well. So right after this, just like in the previous video, I actually have a grains unit feeding off that exact same file. So what that means is this grains can now manipulate that file that the looper is playing. And what I've done is I have the grain duration and the let me just see how I did this. My duration is this one. Oh yeah, and what I have is on the start of the grain, I have an internal saw oscillator. And the frequency of that saw oscillator is being gently controlled by this second LS1 light strip. So if I slow it down, or if I lower the voltage, it sounds the same, but it's actually stretching it out. You can hear the harmonics slow down slightly. So there's a really small grain, it's 10 milliseconds. Or if I speed it up, you can hear it sort of beating a little bit faster, just the inconsistencies of that bell. Now what I've also done is, I've set the volt per octave control to this keyboard, so I have perfect musical semitones of this grain. So there you go, I have it slowed down. So we've sort of done this all before, but what we haven't done is feed it into an independent looper right after that signal. And the reason I wanted to do this was to sort of emulate the whole idea of using like a phonogene or something like that, where you can change the pitch of the sample and overlay that with a new loop. So let me just show what I'm up to. If we take a look, our dub signal is actually being controlled by this fader. So if I play a pitch, and I'll just go into the waveform view for a second. Oops. Now we have both of them playing at the same time. And if I kick out of record, now we have an overlaid signal of these grains doing different things. And while that's recording, I could play around with these settings. And I've kicked out of record again. So now we have this sort of weird drone. And what I've done after that is our wet-dry balance I have set to this fader, so I could actually perform on top of this now. Let me just and after that, I added a delay just to space it out a little bit. Kind of an interesting sound. And this is all based on that initial recording that I did about 5 minutes ago. So if I wanted to sort of change what that weird loop is doing, I can go to my second looper. I'll just set my my dub to 100%, and I'll set my wet to 100%, and let's start again. I'll kick it into record. So I've kicked out of record again. Kind of a weird thing. I've also set my joystick to drastically control the grain pitch. So let's take a listen to that. This might sound bad, but let's see what happens. Not the greatest thing in the world. But this is all overlaid. So we're playing with the grains, we're adjusting the pitch of the grains, we're tracking that to a separate looper, we're overdubbing it on top of other audio material. So it's pretty flexible. And this only took like, I don't know, like 45 seconds to set up. So let's now that we have this low pitch, let's make this a little bit more interesting. Slow down that grain again. So there's our first layer. I'll gradually introduce a fifth. So it's overdubbing on top of itself. So there's our new bed. It's kind of cool. And if I adjust the wet-dry balance of the second looper, I can come up with something else because we're not recording this. It's kind of weird, so I'll just adjust the balance. If I chose to want to overdub that on top of it, I could, because my wet-dry balance is around 2/3, and if I kicked into record, I could overdub this melody. But I like the fact that I can just play it wild while that's playing in the background. Another thing we could do, because this is recorded is while this is happening, I could actually go back to the first looper and record something else. So just for the sake of not feeding back through the speakers and stuff, I'm going to kick into record with the speaker off for a second. So let's hear what this sounds like mixed in there. That's pretty wild, actually. I like that. So now my voice is stretched out really wide because the granular speed is set really low. It's just based on this really slow moving saw. So slow. See, and if I like the balance of this right now, if I kick the second looper into record again, it will record that. It will overlay that on top of this second loop. So I'm going to do that, actually, because I like this. So there we go. Now it's actually this. So as you can see, I mean, with two loopers, the potential for sound manipulation is huge. And I literally just have one looper to record our source, a grains right after it to manipulate, and then after that, I have my sort of destination looper to record to. And all while this is happening, I could set the wet-dry balance to 50% and then play that granular unit. So there you go. Just another sort of set of hopefully some inspiration to play with some loopers and the grains and just come up with some really interesting material. All right. Hopefully that was helpful. Take it easy. Bye.